Welcome to Montreal, Quebec, a city bursting with energy, history, and culture. As our drone glides over the city, let's take a moment to explore some of its unique stories. First, you'll notice that Montreal is an island city, resting on Isle de Montréal. It's surrounded by the Grand St. Lawrence River, a waterway that has seen explorers and traders come and go for centuries. This river has been the lifeblood of the city, shaping its history. As we soar over the city, you'll see the mix of old and new. In Old Montreal, cobblestone streets wind past buildings that have stood for hundreds of years. Cafes and bistros line the sidewalks, offering a taste of Europe right here in Canada. You might even catch a glimpse of Notre-Dame Basilica, with its stunning stained glass windows and grand architecture. But Montreal isn't just about the past. It's a modern city with a thriving economy. The downtown area is home to Fortune 500 companies like Power Corporation of Canada and Bank of Montreal. You can see the skyscrapers reaching toward the sky, a sign of the city's vibrant business scene. The promenade of the Old Port of Montreal has become a lively place for locals and visitors to stroll, relax, and enjoy the views of the St. Lawrence River. Construction began along the river in 1898 with the development of docks and the McKay Protective Jetty, which helped protect the harbor from flooding and ice. It was a busy area with lots of port activity. However, everything changed in 1959 with the opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway. Port operations shifted east, leading to a decline in activity at the Old Port. By 1981, the Old Port of Montreal was decommissioned, and control was handed over to the Old Port of Montreal Corporation. This is when the real transformation began. The old hangars and grain silos were torn down, and most of the railway tracks were removed, creating space for promenades and green areas. It's now a vibrant place where people come to walk, bike, or just relax by the river. The promenade offers fantastic views of the city and the river, and it's a popular spot for festivals, concerts, and other events. The Notre-Dame Basilica of Montreal is one of Canada's most stunning and historic landmarks. As we soar over this majestic building, you'll see why it's been a symbol of Montreal for nearly 2 centuries. Notre-Dame Basilica was built between 1824 and 1829, designed by James O'Donnell, an American architect who chose the Gothic Revival style for this grand church. When it was completed, it was the largest church in North America, capable of holding more than 8,000 people. Its impressive size and twin towers make it a standout feature in the heart of Old Montreal. As we fly over the basilica, notice its massive stone structure and the traditional Gothic elements, like the pointed arches, towering spires, and intricate window tracery. The twin towers are a signature feature, giving the building a majestic presence against the Montreal skyline. Notre-Dame Basilica isn't just famous for its architecture. It has also played a significant role in Montreal's history. The church is located across from Place d'Armes, a bustling square that has been a gathering place for the city's residents for generations. The Sulpicians, a Roman Catholic religious order, were key in establishing the church, aiming to create a building that reflected the growing importance of the city. The Harbour Commissioners Building in Montreal has a story that stretches back to the 17th century. This area, known as Pointe-aux-Collières, has been an important part of Montreal's history since Samuel de Champlain identified it in 1611. Over the years, this site has been home to a windmill, a fur trading post, a shipyard, and even wharves built by the Grey Nuns in the 18th century. By the late 1800s, Montreal had become Canada's industrial and financial center. To support the growing port of Montreal, the Harbour Commissioners built this impressive Italian-style building. Its unique flared design, with curved lines along the street, made it a standout landmark in the area. As we soar over the old port of Montreal, the first thing that catches our eye is the iconic clock tower, standing proudly on Victoria Pier. This elegant tower has been a part of Montreal's history for nearly a century, and it carries a lot of meaning for the city. The clock tower was built to honor the brave seamen of the merchant marine who lost their lives in the First World War. Its tall, graceful silhouette, made of reinforced concrete with light masonry facing, adds a touch of classic Beaux-Arts style to the waterfront. As we look closer, we can see the beautiful decorative elements, like the pilasters, columns with eagles on top, and the memorial plaques. One of the unique features of the clock tower is the curtain wall connecting the main tower to a smaller one. This wall used to hide the grain sheds and conveyors that were here, but now it adds a distinctive look to the structure. If you look up, you'll notice the 4 large clock faces, one on each side of the tower, all backlit to stand out even at night. The tower also has a great observation deck at the top, offering a stunning view of the city and the river. It's easy to see why this spot is a favorite for both locals and tourists alike. From here, you can take in the whole old port area, with its historic buildings and bustling waterfront. The Notre-Dame-de-Bon-Secours Chapel, one of Montreal's oldest churches, was built in 1771. It sits over the ruins of an earlier church that was destroyed by fire. The chapel's history dates back to 1655 when Sainte Marguerite Bourgeois, the first teacher in the Ville-Marie colony, rallied the settlers to build a church. After her return from France in 1673, she brought back a wooden statue of Our Lady of Good Help, which still stands today. The first chapel was completed in 1678 but tragically burned down in 1754. Thankfully, the statue and its reliquary were saved and became part of the new church that was built in 1771. In the 19th century, the chapel became a pilgrimage site for sailors who visited the old port of Montreal. This tradition is why the chapel is often called the Sailors' Church. The Notre-Dame-de-Bon-Secours isn't just a place of worship, it also houses the Marguerite Bourgeois Museum. This museum tells the story of Sainte Marguerite Bourgeois and explores the early history of Montreal and the chapel site. One of the coolest features of the chapel is its spire, which you can climb to get a stunning view of the old port and the St. Lawrence River. Bonsecours Market is one of the most iconic landmarks in Old Montreal. This two-story market with a distinctive dome has been a Montreal staple for over 150 years. It opened its doors in 1847 and quickly became the main public market in Montreal, serving the city for more than a century. The design of Bonsecours Market was inspired by Dublin's Customs House, with its classic neoclassical style and grand dome. Construction began in 1844, led by British architect William Foutner. It was later altered in 1860 by George Brown, an Irish-born architect from Montreal, who added additional features like a concert hall and banquet room. Throughout its history, Bonsecours Market has played many roles. From 1852 to 1878, it served as Montreal's City Hall, and it has been a venue for banquets, exhibitions, and festivals. Now, Bonsecours Market is a bustling hub for shopping and dining. It's a vibrant spot where visitors and locals alike come to enjoy the sights, sounds, and flavors of Old Montreal. In 1984, Bonsecours Market was designated a National Historic Site of Canada, recognizing its historical significance and preserving its unique architecture for generations to come. Montreal City Hall is a five-story building that has been the center of local government in Montreal since it was completed in 1878. It stands as one of the best examples of the Second Empire style in Canada. With its ornate facade, distinctive mansard roof, and grand clock tower, it's hard to miss. The construction of Montreal City Hall began in 1872, but in 1922, a devastating fire gutted the entire building, leaving only the outer walls. Louis Parent, the architect responsible for the reconstruction, created a completely new structure inside the shell of the ruins. This new design was inspired by the City Hall in Tours, France, with a steel framework and a striking copper roof. Montreal City Hall was designated a National Historic Site of Canada in 1984, recognizing its architectural significance and its role in the city's history. Vauquelin Place in Montreal is a vibrant and accessible gathering place. For years, it was overgrown, outdated, and cut off from the rest of Old Montreal. The design made it hard for people to access, and trees and shrubs blocked the view of the city. But thanks to a major redevelopment project, Vauquelin Place has come back to life. The new design connects Old Montreal with the modern city, linking them seamlessly. It's a special spot right in front of Montreal's historic City Hall. This restoration project had to be done with great care, especially with all the historic and archaeological elements around. The square has heated surfaces, allowing visitors to enjoy it even in Montreal's cold winters. The subtle urban furniture and carefully chosen vegetation add to the inviting atmosphere. LeMay, the team behind this transformation, worked hard to keep the heritage while bringing in modern touches. They added 10,000 meters of pipes to keep the square warm, planted 35% more trees to increase biodiversity, and created an innovative ramp-stair combination that makes the square accessible to everyone. Place Viger is a historic gem in the heart of Montreal. As we fly over this iconic site, you'll see a building with a rich and complex history, one that has witnessed the transformation of Montreal over more than a century. Place Viger was built in 1898, designed by Bruce Price, an architect who crafted a grand railway station and a luxurious hotel, all in one. The building is named after Jacques Viger, the first mayor of Montreal. Back in its heyday, Place Viger was at the heart of Montreal's bustling city center, close to the financial district, City Hall, and the port. The French chateau-style architecture, with its ornate turrets and steep roofs, made it a standout landmark. But as the city's commercial core shifted to the northwest, and the economic depression of the 1930s hit hard, Place Viger's fortunes changed. The hotel closed in 1935, and the railway station followed suit in 1951. The building was sold to the city of Montreal, and its interiors were converted into office spaces. The CHUM University Hospital is at the corner of Saint-Denis and Viger Avenue. Notice the tall steeple. This isn't just any ordinary hospital architecture, it's a piece of history. This steeple is from the 1865 Holy Trinity Church, which used to stand where the hospital is now. When the church was demolished, they saved the steeple, dismantling it stone by stone, and rebuilt it here at the hospital's entrance. You can walk inside the steeple and take a break from the busy hospital environment. It's a beautiful reminder of Montreal's rich history, right in the middle of a modern medical complex. The Zéal-Ocar building is located at 535 Viger Avenue East and is named after a significant figure in New France's history. Zéal-Ocar was the 14th intendant of New France and played an important role in preserving documents from that era. As we soar over the building, notice its unique structure, which combines three distinct parts built at different times. The oldest part is the Jardin House, built in 1871. We are now flying over the Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes Chapel and the former Saint-Jacques Cathedral. Notre-Dame-de-Lourdes Chapel is built in the Romano-Byzantine style and opened in 1881. It was designed by Napoleon Bourassa, an artist with a passion for religious art, who made sure every detail was perfect. The former Saint-Jacques Cathedral was Montreal's first purpose-built cathedral, built in 1825. It was destroyed by numerous fires but always rebuilt. A tall spire added in 1876, and more changes made through the years. In 1973, the Université du Québec à Montréal bought the building and demolished much of it, leaving only the spire and transept. These were incorporated into the university's pavilion Judith Jasmine, keeping a piece of the city's religious heritage alive within a modern educational setting. St. Peter the Apostle Church sits in the heart of Montreal's Village neighborhood, a designated historic place of Canada. Pierre Baudry, a local landowner, donated part of his farm for a new church. Construction of the church began in 1850 and St. Peter the Apostle Church became its own parish in 1900, solidifying its place in the community. One of the unique features of this church is the Chapel of Hope, or Chapelle de l'Espoir, dedicated to the victims of AIDS. It's a special space that offers comfort and remembrance, possibly the only chapel of its kind in the world. St. Brigid Catholic Church is dedicated to St. Brigid of Kildare from Ireland. The church has a strong connection to Montreal's Irish community. In 1850, Irish families in the suburbs of Quebec petitioned to have an English-speaking church, and their wish was granted in 1867 when Monsignor Bourget established the parish. St. Brigid Church's construction began in 1878, with designs by architects Martin, Poitras, and Martin. It's considered one of the 20 most beautiful churches in the Montreal diocese. As we soar over the church, you might notice its simple exterior. The building is mainly constructed with rustic stone, giving it a sturdy and classic appearance. The rounded arches above the windows and doors add a touch of elegance, while the central tower with its tall, slate and metal-covered spire creates a striking contrast against the simple stonework. River's Edge Community Church in Montreal is a welcoming place where people come together to connect, pray, and celebrate. This church isn't just a place for Sunday services, it's a hub for the local community, a place where people care for each other. The church hosts various activities, from Bible studies to community outreach programs. It's a place where people come to find support, learn, and grow. As the drone pulls back, you get a broader view of the surrounding area. You can see how the church is part of the larger Montreal community, with homes and other buildings nearby. Built between 1851 and 1853, Our Lady of Grace Church is a true gem in the heart of Montreal. The church was designed by John Austell and follows the Jesuit style, which has a classic and timeless appeal. The church underwent major renovations in 1927, adding a chapel dedicated to St. Victor, a baptistry, and an elegant campanile with a 5-bell carillon. These additions created a unique architectural ensemble that makes Our Lady of Grace stand out in Montreal. Ascension of Our Lord Catholic Church in Montreal is one of the most significant examples of 20th century Gothic religious design in Quebec. As we fly around the outside, you'll notice classic Gothic features like the impressive bell tower at the crossroads. This tower, with its soaring pinnacles adorned with Gothic florins, stands out against the sky. Look closely, and you'll see the decorative tympana above the porches, the buttresses providing structural support, and the intricately designed pinnacles that give the church its distinctive silhouette. The architects, McGuinness and Walsh from Boston, clearly loved Gothic design. They included so many elements that you'll find them everywhere you look. For example, the broken arches, also known as ogival arches, are a key characteristic of Gothic style. These arches appear in the church's windows, vaults, and even the large arches separating the nave from the aisles. It's clear that Ascension of Our Lord Catholic Church is a true showcase of Gothic architecture, both inside and out. Saint-Léon de Westmount Church in Montreal is a National Historic Site and a stunning example of Romanesque Revival architecture. Notice its Italianate facade, complete with a towering bell tower and grand stained glass windows. As our drone moves over the church, you'll see the rose and lancet windows, which feature Guido Nincheri's stained glass artistry. This church is a true work of art, with every detail thoughtfully designed and expertly crafted. The combination of architecture, frescoes, and stained glass creates a harmonious and awe-inspiring space that continues to inspire visitors and worshippers alike. Soars over Westmount, you can see Selwyn House School and Westmount City Hall. The prestigious school has a rich history dating back to 1908 when Lieutenant Algernon Lucas, a graduate of Selwyn College, Cambridge, arrived in Montreal to teach. What began as a small class of 7 boys quickly grew, leading to multiple relocations and expansions over the years. Since then, the school has seen many significant changes, including the purchase of additional properties, extensive renovations, and even a $12.5 million construction project in 2002. Westmount City Hall is an architectural gem. This neo-Tudor building, designed by Francis R. Findlay and Robert Findlay, brings to mind Scottish castles with its central tower, crenellations, and turrets. Its enduring style and elegance make it a prominent landmark in the Westmount area, highlighting the unique character and history of this vibrant community. Victoria Hall is a community center with a storied history. The original Victoria Jubilee Hall opened in 1899 and offered a range of amenities, including a bowling alley and a swimming pool. However, a fire in 1924 destroyed the building. The second Victoria Hall, completed in 1925, has a striking neo-Tudor style, featuring a square crenellated tower with four corner turrets, and Gothic details like buttresses, and an oriel window above the ogival doors. Victoria Hall was extensively renovated in 1998, adding modern facilities while preserving its historic charm. The hall serves as the home for Westmount's Community Events Division, hosting a variety of activities, from city council meetings to cultural events and recreational courses. Westmount Park United Church in Montreal, you can see a landmark with a deep connection to the United Church of Canada. Built in 1930, it was the first church in Westmount specifically designed for the United Church after its founding in 1925. This church's history is rich, with artifacts and stained glass windows that reflect its journey and subsequent mergers with other congregations. Architecturally, the church is an impressive example of early 20th century Gothic revival design, thanks to the Montreal architectural firm Perry and Luke. The exterior is detailed in stone with beautiful cast stone enrichments, and the church's functional design and craftsmanship are clear both inside and out. Look closely, and you can spot the stained glass windows by renowned artist C.W. Kelsey, adding vibrant colors and stories to the structure. Holy Trinity Serbian Orthodox Church in Montreal is a site with deep roots in the city's Serbian community. The first Serbs in Montreal arrived before World War I. This growing community began to gather in various places for religious events and Serbian celebrations, but it wasn't until 1954 that the Holy Trinity Serbian parish community was officially established. In 1961, the community purchased a building on D. Bullion Street, and it was transformed into the First Holy Trinity Church. The growing congregation soon outgrew this space, leading to the search for a larger church. In 1976, the community purchased a Presbyterian church designed by the renowned Canadian architect Edward Maxwell, located in the desirable Westmount neighborhood. The consecration of this new Holy Trinity Church took place on October 31, 1976, and it quickly became a vibrant center for religious life and community events.
Thanks for watching!